This week on Unscripted, there are reasons why there was no follow-up the last 2 weeks to SmackDown Rose at Survivor Series. We will talk about them. Plus, news coming out of the United Kingdom's wrestling scene with WWE tightening some contracts and some other things coming to light. And Fox wants a top Raw star on SmackDown Live when the new deal hits next year. This and more on the future #1 podcast right here on YouTube.com. This is Unscripted. What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're back again for episode 47 of Unscripted for December 1st, 2018. There are exactly 30 days left in the year. Of course, is coming up, New Year's after that, and of course, a whole bunch of terrible Monday Night Raw. Speaking of Monday Night Raw, as we do every single week, we're going to talk about what's happened in Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. The UK I'll have a full list of UK stuff tomorrow for you guys on the channel. Make sure to look out for that. Side note, before we get started with the show, with everything, this nice little overlay you see that I've done myself, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the NXT UK hasn't been seen in a while, and Unscripted. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT UK will be changing as of Monday. I already have Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live done. I got to work on the NXT and NXT UK, the video overlays and everything, and hopefully I do have a camera. Hopefully we can use that eventually so you can see my beautiful face, which is not really that beautiful, but there's neither here nor there. So the Unscripted one is going to stick around for a couple more episodes. I'm going to try and do it a little bit different than the other ones, so it stands out a little bit differently, and also try and figure out how I want my logo to look, so it's not just a big WWE sign with Unscripted over top of it. We'll have to see as we get on. But starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you will see different overlays moving forward starting Monday. Now, when it comes to the UK shows, because UK is 2 episodes a week, it's just a little taxing with NXT going on as well, and the fact that NXT is more evolved than the NXT UK show. So NXT UK is going to be one of those things that I binge watch a month of. So December, I will have a full show going on. I'll watch every episode as they go live, but I will have notes and stuff for them, and I'll have it all set up for probably January 1st-ish area. When is January 1st this year? Next year. January 1st is a Tuesday. Okay, so yeah, probably in the first week of January or the 30th of December, I will have every episode of NXT UK. I am still got to watch this past week's 2 episodes. When they cut it down to back to 1 episode a week, NXT UK will probably be our Wednesday, and NXT will be our Thursday shows. But until then, I'm going to watch NXT UK as it comes up, and then we'll go to NXT normally until things get settled down, because it's just that's 3 hours of wrestling at least, and we already have to deal with Monday Night Raw on a weekly basis for 3 hours, so it is a little bit easier for myself. And we will have this Sunday will not be the first time we have a month-long worth of shows at a time. Of course, I did watch and reviewed, I believe, the 7th of November on time, but I'm just gonna make it a little bit easier for myself and watch. I've watched most of this month. I've got the Jordan Devlin versus Pete Dunne week, and then the finals of the Women's Championship Tournament, and I will have talk of why, and because it's already been out there, known who is the NXT UK Women's Champion. If people are wondering why this person is the NXT UK Women's Champion, I will talk about why it went down as it went down, and what led to this person winning the championship over somebody else who probably was supposed to win the championship first. That'll all be tomorrow, so make sure to check that out. Do I really have to talk about Monday Night Raw again? Really? Monday Night Raw in a nutshell, of course, as we all know, was it was a dumpster fire. The worst Raw of all time, in my opinion. I even put that on the header for last week's show, the worst Monday Night Raw of all time. There's been bad shows this year. Monday Night Raw has been bad majority of the year. I think the last best good episode of Monday Night Raw, because of the first 2 hours being taken up by technically one match, was the Gauntlet episode. The episode where Seth Rollins lasted an hour between John Cena, Roman Reigns, in 2 matches in one show, and took up majority of that, like the majority of the first hour, and then the majority of the second hour was all this Gauntlet match. That was the last time Raw actually had a good show, because they didn't have to do so much, because, like I said, if they would have cut out that third hour, that would have been the best show in, I don't know, 3, 5, 6, 7 years? That's the last time, and that was like in February. That's how sad Monday Night Raw has been this year. It just gets worse and worse, and we are in the WWE slump where they're just going to... They don't care. They don't have to care. Football's going on, other things like NBA's going on, NHL's going on. People are going to go watch other things. Monday Night Raw, and they're not in WrestleMania season is not for another month. Since we are in December now, we have another month till WrestleMania season. So WWE is not going to try their hardest. WWE is not going to put a full effort in. They're just going to sit there and go, well, it's just another Monday. We're going to do what we want. It was Baron Corbin throwing his weight around. It felt like a WCW show. It felt like Impact Wrestling when it felt like Impact Wrestling when Immortal with Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff were running the show. It felt like anything but what Monday Night Raw should have been. JD from New York put a tweet out. He added Vince McMahon in this tweet, telling him that we deserve better than this garbage that used to be a wonderful time to spend your Monday night. And I totally agree with him. We deserve better. Fans who buy the network, fans who buy the tickets to go to these shows, deserve better. Wrestling, WWE, Vince McMahon hates the word wrestling, and I swear this past Monday he tried to do everything he could to kill it. Absolutely kill it. There's not much else I can say about Monday Night Raw. SmackDown Live, on the other hand, was a better show, and I'm pretty sure after watching Monday Night Raw, anyone could agree anything would have been better. You could enjoy anything better than what you saw Monday night. Just plain and simple. Anything. SmackDown Live, the biggest thing coming out of SmackDown Live that is frustrating is the fact that we get to the go home show to Survivor Series, and Becky Lynch, of course, got her face quote unquote broken by Nia Jax the night before. She comes out and tells Charlotte Flair to do what she would do to Ronda Rousey. They shake, they hug, all seems good. We go to the back, and Charlotte Flair is like, I fought with Becky, I fight against Becky, and on Sunday I'm going to be fighting for Becky. Fast forward to this past Tuesday, and Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are bickering again, like everything that happened before Survivor Series, that Tuesday before Survivor Series, meant absolutely nothing. It's like Survivor Series meant absolutely nothing outside of Ronda Rousey getting beat down, which, again, meant like absolutely nothing because Ronda Rousey came out the next night on Raw, had a title match, and acted like nothing happened. It's just bad television. We'll talk about, and that's going to be the first thing we'll talk about when we get to the news, why Shane McMahon, who came out on Twitter after they lost 6-0 at Survivor Series, and 6-0, and had said that changes were going to be needed. We didn't have anything last week. We didn't have anything this week. It's like, what is WWE doing? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. SmackDown Live, we had the Bar lose their enforcer in the Big Show. I don't have it in my notes, but Cultaholic. I got it off. I saw it on Cultaholic's news thing that the big. I think it was either Cultaholic or What Culture Wrestling. One of those two talked about how the Big Show was probably written off TV because he's dealing with a hamstring injury. And then I heard it on Wrestling Observer Radio on YouTube. Someone posted the clip, and apparently Big Show has a hamstring. And I believe it was not Dave. I think it was Brian Alvarez who asked, why didn't they just like say he was injured and they didn't have to break him up, but WWE decided to. Big Show turned so many times, and he comes out, and I guarantee you, half the time, people are watching Monday Night SmackDown Live or whatever show he's on, and they're like, is he going to turn again? I guarantee you people are like, and the Big Show comes out, is he turning heel again, or is he heel, or is he turning face again? It's that bad, and it's that pathetic, and WWE just, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. WWE just like the Big Show needs to retire. He had the perfect send off. He put the big guy over in Braun Strowman last year when Braun Strowman picked him up, said I'm putting you out the pasture, pulled him in he was going to do a fallaway slam and just threw him out the cage. That should have been it as a wrestler. Big Show should not be wrestling anymore. He wants to show up on stage with a bunch of kiddies doing pediatric cancer month. He wants to do stuff with the breast cancer awareness women. He wants to be an ambassador in WWE. Fine. I don't have any problem with that. That segment right there is not in wrestling continuity. That segment right there, I don't talk about on my reviews because it doesn't matter. If he wants to stand there and just wave with a bunch of kiddies around him or wave with a bunch of brave women who survived breast cancer, fine. He can do that. He is good for that role. He was being a guy who was what was it? He was doing an interview with a couple months ago with a parent to a child who I think had autism or something. Have him do that. Have him conduct interviews with be an ambassador to WWE. Keep him out of the ring. I don't want to see the Big Show in WWE and in a wrestling capacity again. There is absolutely no reason for it. He wants to do other things, fine, but stop wrestling. It's not needed. You're not some Big Show putting a young guy over anymore it's not a big deal anymore. It's not. Then the Usos beat the Bar, of course, on SmackDown Live. We had AJ Styles respond to Daniel Bryan. We had Jeff Hardy's celebration 20 years since he signed a contract with WWE, even though his first appearance was in 1994 or 1995 when he was some other name I can't remember on the top of my head, where he was a jobber. Him and his brother did the King of the Ring, were the jesters who opened the doors for the King of the Ring the one year the Royal Rumble, when new superstar came out, they would open the doors. So yeah, Jeff Hardy celebrating. It was a great speech for him, and then Samoa Joe came out and pretty much did the best thing a heel can do and attack past demons. The fact that Jeff came out and was like, man, I can't believe I did half of that stuff. I don't even remember doing half of that stuff. Before Joe came out, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, because you probably weren't coherent for half of it. You were probably hopped up on some pain pills or drugs or something that you can't remember any of that. And then Joe said exactly what I thought. So it looks like we're getting Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy. The last time these two fought was for a World Cup qualifier for Crown Jewel's Fools Cup, the American Cup, in which Jeff Hardy viciously, in a Willow-like way, viciously attacked Samoa Joe's leg and putting him out on the shelf for about a couple weeks. So, could we see the emergence of Will-O-the-Wisp in one way or another? I would love that. More than anything, I would love to see Will-O-the-Wisp in WWE. Of course, the reason anyone is wondering who's Will-O-the-Wisp, he is an alter ego of Jeff Hardy. Just like if you were to watch the holiday special, the House Hardy's holiday special, you saw Itchweed. That's 3 E's. Itchweed, not Itchweed. Itchweed. That's another one of his characters. I hope Willow makes it to WWE. It would be great. The reason that Willow hasn't ever been seen in WWE is because Jeff wears a mask with paint, I think, on the front of his face to, keep himself hidden. And WWE doesn't want to cover that face. They just don't want to. So, That's why that's one of the main reasons why WWE will not allow Jeff Hardy to be Willow. And Rey Mysterio, and one of the biggest things was Rey Mysterio got brutalized by Randy Orton again. Took a chair to his throat, which was injured. He had a neck brace on. Took the neck brace off. Put a throat to his chair, his neck, and threw him onto the stairs. They're going to probably be having a chairs match at TLC. But of course, the main event was a battle royal, a 9-woman battle royal. Yay! For the third spot in a triple threat match between Asuka, who won, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. So we have the first ever women's tables, ladders, and chairs match will be a triple threat match. And I'm pulling for Asuka, because the simple fact is we could have Ronda Rousey come out and screw over the 2 4-horsewomen. Maybe this could be where Shayna Baszler makes her debut and screws over Becky Lynch with Ronda Rousey, and you could have the 4-horsewomen start coming in. Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir are nowhere near ready for main roster television, but Shayna Baszler is. I don't care if she's the NXT Women's Champion. She's going to defend the title on NXT TakeOver Phoenix against, I don't know, maybe Stain, maybe Bianca Belair, maybe Io Shirai. Bianca Belair has been asking for a Women's Championship match because she is undefeated still. But who knows? Who knows? That's all due time on NXT TV. Speaking of NXT, we were from San Jose. The only thing we need to talk about is Keith Lee versus Lars Sullivan, which when I talked about it made me scratch my head. Why did Lars Sullivan win if this is going to be his probably last match in NXT? And from what I hear, he wasn't at the set of tapings this past Wednesday, so that's pretty much going to be confirmed. Usually you go out on your back, but it feels like, and JD from New York brought this up in his review, that this match was taped before TakeOver. This match was taped before Vince McMahon decided to call Lars Sullivan up. So why would you even call the guy up? He's not ready, first and foremost. But these two had a colossal match. You had Keith Lee showing that his glory, his bask in his glory, or whatever it is just great. He can do. And he puts most of the cruiserweights to shame from 205 Live. He makes them look inferior. Keith Lee is one of those guys, and so does Dominic Dijakovic, who got a promo package this past Wednesday. Those two guys show that what's the point of cruiserweights in WWE anymore? When you have a tall, like a 6'5" or 7 foot tall guy doing aerodynamic moves, and a guy who is like the size of Lars Sullivan doing corkscrews, planchas over the top rope and moonsaults. Why do I want to watch 205 Live when I can see it on NXT? Or I can watch Kevin Owens when he comes back do dives. Or any of these other big guys like Samoa Joe used to be able to do, like when he was a lot younger. Why would I want to watch 205 Live? Guys like that, put them to shame. If you want to see a big man versus big man match done right in 2018 in WWE, you need to watch Keith Lee versus Lars Sullivan. Plain and simple. It was that good. That good. Let's get into the news here, ladies and gentlemen. Why was there no follow-up the last 2 weeks to SmackDown's loss at Survivor Series? Despite it barely being mentioned on SmackDown the past couple of weeks, WWE had plans on delivering a follow-up to Team SmackDown losing all of their main card matches at Survivor Series. They were supposed to lose the tag team 10-man tag team match on the pre-show, but the person who produced that match obviously must not have been in the meeting for Vince McMahon, who wanted everyone to lose, wanted all of SmackDown to lose, and they booked the Usos to win. Even though I think the Revival should have won, it would have been the best thing they've done since they faced Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. The plan, though, for the follow-up will happen in January, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer News Radio. The right payoff could come in the lead-up to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view as WrestleMania 35 season kicks off. As noted, WWE still has significant take three creative plans for SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon going into WrestleMania 35 season. There are plans for Shane to undergo a character change during the first quarter of 2019. What else is it going to be? He's either a babyface or a heel. Come on. There's no word yet on what they have planned, but it would likely be the setup for his match at WrestleMania. The change will also tie in with Shane's World Cup win at Crown Jewel. WWE had plans for Shane to face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35, but that was changed when Bryan won the WWE title from AJ Styles. Because we all know we do not need to see Shane McMahon going for the WWE Championship at any time this late in his career or anything outside of the Attitude Era. It was believed that Shane's planned heel turn with the World Cup win was leading to WrestleMania match with Bryan. I still don't want to know how that would have worked. But it was also believed that the Shane heel turn has been dropped, but there's no confirmation what they have planned now that Shane is a new storyline with The Miz. Do you think I'm going to care about what happened at Survivor Series next month? Do you think you're going to care about something that happened in the beginning of November in January? No. You didn't follow up the 2 nights after Survivor Series. No one's gonna care. Shane McMahon pretending like, oh, I didn't remember anything, but yet you came on Twitter after your match in which there was still 2 matches after the men's 5-on-5. You don't remember anything after that, but yet you tweeted, not how I expected the blue brand to go, changes need to happen. And what do we got? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I just don't get it. Why even have this? Why even have this? I mean, yes, Raw gloated about it on the night after Survivor Series, but there hasn't been anything pretty much since. SmackDown just like, oh, business as usual. Business as usual. Nothing happened on Sunday. Nothing happened 2 Sundays ago. Nothing happened last Sunday. Nothing happened. Nothing here. I think I did report about it a couple of weeks ago, like right before Survivor Series, why Daniel Bryan shouldn't have turned heel at the time. It's that fact that WWE pretty much felt like they perceived Survivor Series that it wasn't in continuity with regular WWE. So that's why Daniel Bryan worked his match mostly with Brock Lesnar as a face. Why Charlotte Flair turned into a heel for a second. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. And why it's just I don't get this company sometimes. You have this sweep, you have Raw gloat about it, and then nothing happens the next night after Raw gloats about it, even though Shane McMahon on the road to Crown Jewel told 4 guys on the SmackDown brand, if one of you lose to Raw, you will be fired. Yet this guy comes out, loses, and is the last man for the 2nd year in a row, is the last man standing for SmackDown. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This company though, they just don't know. And it's like, again, what is Shane McMahon's big character change going to be? There's only 1 or 2 options. He's either a babyface who loves the fans and says what's up to wherever they're at, or he's a heel who doesn't give a shit about the fans. That's it. There is no other character change that he could have. It just, why? Will you care in January about, I guarantee you, for the most people who watch, the casual fans who watch this show in January, and you start seeing them mention something that happened in November, they're not going to know what the fuck you're talking about. So what's the point? So we have at least a couple more pay-per-view, a couple more SmackDowns. Let me see. Okay, we have 4 more SmackDowns in this year that we're going to get through, and nothing. So you expect me to come to January of this year, of next year, January 1st or whatever, because I think January 1st is actually on a Tuesday. You expect me to come to, and by the way, it's going to be taped. SmackDown is going to be taped this year for January, for New Year, Christmas Day, I think it's Christmas Day, yeah. The holiday SmackDown and Raws are going to be taped this year. Good. Those guys and girls should be able to spend time with their family. But when we get to January and the holidays are over, you expect people who are casual fans who come in and say, oh, what's going on in SmackDown? What happened in November? Yeah, I don't care. Change the channel. It just makes no sense. Absolutely no sense why WWE thinks that people are going to care 2 months later. They just don't get it. By the time this happens, Shane McMahon could slip on a thing and get hurt, or somebody who he's supposed to wrestle at WrestleMania could get hurt. You don't know. They just don't plan things right. It makes no sense. I can't wait till Vince McMahon's out of WWE and we have somebody else who knows what the hell they're doing. You wouldn't expect anything like this happening in NXT. Aleister Black got injured. Aleister Black got knocked out by a mystery assailant. They didn't wait 2 months. They waited 2 months to tell you who was going to be the attacker, but that's because they built suspense. It wasn't like, oh, Aleister Black was knocked out right before TakeOver. A few months later, oh, remember Aleister Black was knocked out in before TakeOver? Oh yeah, his attacker was this person. No, they had William Regal asking. We saw for weeks and weeks and weeks. William Regal asking superstar after superstar after superstar, did you attack Aleister Black? With a quote-unquote detective right beside him. He went into the ring and asked Johnny Gargano, did you attack Aleister Black? That's good storytelling. And then we find out it was Johnny Gargano. Would WWE on the main roster do something like that? No. I'm so glad we didn't have NXT showed you how to build long-term storyline. WWE does not. Oh, let's just drop it for a month and a half. No one's going to care anyway. We'll pick it back up in January. Screw that. Moving over to the United Kingdom as we get on with this. WWE reportedly signs a huge independent star. Independent wrestling star Walter has reportedly signed with WWE. PW Insiders reporting multiple sources had confirmed Walter has signed with the company. The report coming out months after the wrestler initially denied signing with the company. Walter originally responded to a report by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the company was interested in signing him, saying nobody offered me anything. Not true. Walter originally responded to a report by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling... Oh, we already got that one. The Austrian wrestler will finish up current independent dates which were previously booked. That includes the Defiant Wrestling's loaded tapings because he is the Defiant Wrestling internet champion, and the opening match of the new loaded tapings, which will start on December 9th, will be Walter versus El Phantasmo versus, I can't remember who the other guy is, in a triple threat match for that championship. So I do expect him to drop that title to whichever one it is. And will be part of WWE's European plans, which would include the NXT UK brand. PW Insider said Pro Wrestling Guerrilla allegedly tried bringing him back for a farewell appearance, but the terms of the new WWE deal prevented that from happening. It was also noted that the signing with WWE is why he dropped the PWE title to Jeff Cobb last month. I have only seen clips of Walter. I have not actually seen a full match of him. I know there is an Internet Championship match, I believe on Defiance YouTube page of Walter versus Will Ospreay. I will definitely be checking out Walter versus El Phantasmo, and I can't remember the other guy's name. That triple threat match. This guy, I've seen him, his size of him. This guy is huge. He should be pushed to the moon in NXT UK. He should come in, and I honestly think he should be the one to beat Pete Dunne for the UK Championship. Plain and simple. Walter is going to be a force to reckon with, and it's going to be interesting to see what this guy does in WWE. He did state a couple months ago that he has no interest in Raw and SmackDown. Do you blame him? After what we saw on Monday Night Raw, do you blame anyone for saying they have no interest in working the main roster? I wouldn't. Not at all. He wants to come in. He's interested in NXT and NXT UK, so it would be interesting to see what happens with him when it comes to the UK. He's definitely probably going to be seen in NXT TakeOver Blackpool, which is the first NXT TakeOver for the UK division. My only gripe with NXT TakeOver Blackpool is it is going to be happening 2 weeks before NXT TakeOver Phoenix. We couldn't get an NXT TakeOver in February. I know they want to get the NXT UK Tag Team titles decided, but we couldn't build towards February, so we have a TakeOver in January, a UK TakeOver in February, nothing in March, and then April, of course, would be TakeOver Brooklyn, or TakeOver New York. unless they're going to give us another takeover in March, which would be a little bit too much. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Walter signing with the WWE. This next story, everybody and their mother should have seen coming. Anybody who has a brain should have seen this coming. Anybody who is a wrestling WWE fan and a historian of WWE should have seen this coming. New restrictions on UK talent. Earlier this week, Wrestle Talk reported new contract restrictions for UK talent could impact upcoming appearances. While Walter's name was not specifically cited, Wrestle Talk stated talents under the new WWE NXT UK deals would be able to finish bookings if the following guidelines were met. Talent could only wrestle on a show if there was a paramedic there. UK talent will not be permitted to wrestle against anyone contracted from Ring of Honor, New Japan, World of Sports, or any other major promotion. Impact Wrestling is in this, but in a later statement, Impact Wrestling was not mentioned as they are not deemed as competitive. Walter is currently scheduled to appear for Fight. People who want to sit there and say I remember listening to, I believe it was the Wrestling Observer, another part of the Wrestling Observer earlier this week, and Dave Meltzer said that some UK promoters were blindsided by this, and I'm like, were you living under the rock have you never watched any historical things on the WWE Network? Have you never heard of Vince McMahon? Have you never read his bio? Have you never heard the fact that he shut down the NWA? He killed the NWA, the promotion, the territories. He's the reason the territories died. Well, he's part of the reason. Cable television was the big poison that slowly killed off the territories, as well as territory promoters not willing to adapt with the times. Vince McMahon just came in and swept up their talent as well, said, well, you can go work for this chump, or you can come here and make the big bucks. Vince McMahon is going to be doing that probably here soon. And anyone thinking that TakeOver is just a funny moniker, no. TakeOver is what WWE wants to do. WWE has been wanting to take over the wrestling world. Speaking of taking over the wrestling world, WWE... There are some new details on the updated NXT UK contract situation has been revealed, according to a report from Wrestling Observer newsletter. With news coming out, the NXT UK talent receiving various tier contracts and the major stars were restricted from competing outside their brands. Dave Meltzer is reporting the WWE agreement with various UK promotions allowed them to purchase and shut down the promotion if they wanted to. Part of WWE's working agreement originally offered and agreed to were that WWE would have the right for the next several years if they choose to purchase the companies for an agreed upon price, high six figures in the least cases, and then shut them down so they would no longer compete with themselves, with the idea that they would take place when they were running full-time schedules in those markets. WWE currently has agreements in place with Progress Wrestling and Scotland's ICW Insane Championship Wrestling, which, yeah. The two promotions have commonly used the top stars of the NXT UK as well as a SmackDown superstar Killian Dane. Earlier, it was reported that the list of non-compete promotions was revealed, though Impact Wrestling was not part of it. Current UK stars, including United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, were granted permission to compete for Destiny Wrestling, though it won't be live for streaming and for audiences only. Anybody who has been following this entire thing since the UK brand was announced, you should have been not surprised. This doesn't surprise me at all, that they would agree upon they would have this in those contracts. They have that clause. Oh, well, we're going to start going over there and we're going to start touring the UK a lot more. ICW, here's your six-figure deals. We're gone. You're done. Progress, here's your six-figure deal. Nope, we got you. You're done. It's going to happen. I can't remember what the other promotion was, but there was another promotion in the UK that was communicating with WWE, and there was a possibility that WWE was going to give them an offer contract too, so they could have their the WWE UK talent as well. But this clause backed them out of it. So anybody who is like, "Oh my God, WWE, how could they do such thing?" This is what they do. This is what they did in the 80s. This is what they did in the early 2000s when they bought up WCW and they bought up ECW. They take what they can get. People fail and people get bought up. It's just how it is. WWE would have to, like, ICW and Progress are two very, very highly popular promotions, and they do evolve with the times. This isn't the only difference between the territories in WCW, ECW is that these two promotions are not going to just be like, oh, we're doing the best we can, we're going to rest on our laurels, and we're just going to just keep doing this. The wrestling business around us can evolve, and we're just going to stay as we are. They are what they are. But the fact that WWE has that in their contracts, that, hey, we want to buy you up and we're going to shut you down, no problem with me. It would not surprise me that WWE gets a hold of Evolve as well, because they do have a working partnership, even though I don't think that WWE has a stake in Evolve. I could be wrong. Maybe they have that contract too. Not sure. Even though NXT has been, like, the NXT tag team, the NXT Fabian Eichner and the Street Profits hold tag team in singles gold there, respectively. But anybody who thinks that WWE is not going to do this, you are just delusional. This is what they do. They go in, they get what they want, they take the talent they want, and then they'll just... And to anybody who is attacking a Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, or anybody else for taking this contract that they get from WWE, these guys and girls have worked 10 plus years to get where they're at. To anybody who sits there and says they've sold out, how could you forget your roots? You know what? You go out, you buy the WWE Network, and you support them. But do not stop supporting the young guys, or like the Martin Kirbys, or the Will Ospreays, or the Zack Sabre Jr.'s, or the Jimmy Havoc, or Primate, who was actually at the last set of tapings for them in a dark match, if I'm correct. Primate did actually work for NXT UK for a moment. Or like Gabriel Kidd, and everybody else, Rampage, Joe Hendry, all those guys and girls, Kaylee Ray, Viper, B. Priestley, all those guys and girls from the UK. Somebody who hasn't even made a debut yet, him or her. Somebody who's training in the UK. Follow them. Build them up. Support them. Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Tony Storm, and all those other guys and girls in the UK division got to where they want to. If your goal is not to make it to WWE, I don't know what to tell you. These guys and girls should have worked their asses off in the indies. They got noticed by WWE management. They got signed by the WWE. They did what they wanted to do to get where they're at. Anybody who is a wrestling fan, anybody who's a fan of each and every one of these people saying they sold out, throw away your wrestling fandom and get the hell out. These guys and girls work their asses off. Support them as they move forward, as well as supporting those at your local wrestling threads. I see, like, even if ICW and Progress got shut down, there were probably many, many more. I know Defiant Wrestling is going absolutely nowhere, so like go find like new people in Defiant Wrestling. If you don't like the fact that these guys and girls who are on the NXT UK brand, you say sold out, don't support them anymore. You have a ton of talent. A ton of talent. You have Defiant Wrestling. You have ICW still. You have Progress Wrestling. I don't know all the independent promotions in the UK, but I'm pretty sure there's a bunch more. Go out and support the young guys and the young women. Go support them. Watch them grow. Watch them become the next big star, the next Pete Dunne, the next Tyler Bate, the next Trent Seven, the next Dakota Kai, the next Rhea Ripley, the next Killer Kelly, the next Isla Dawn, the next B. Priestley, the next Kaylee Ray. Go support the young ones if you don't want to support the ones who made it to WWE. It's that simple. I don't know what else to tell you guys, but this is just WWE's MO. That's what they do. If you don't like it, don't watch. That's what they say. I hate people who say that, but if you don't like it and if you don't want to watch, you in the UK, you have so many more options. Just like in the United States, we have so many more options if we wanted to. I live in Ohio, Heartland Wrestling Association in Cincinnati, Ohio. If I can make it over to Cincinnati, of course I live on the other side of Ohio, so that'd be kind of hard. I could go over and watch wrestling there. If you aren't happy with WWE's product, support independent promotions, support independent wrestlers, so yes, they will eventually make it to WWE if they have the talent. Joe Coffey, Trent Seven, Tyler Bate, Mark Coffey, Wolfgang, and all those guys had the talent to make it to WWE. Support them as much as you can, as well as the up and comers. Just because you're not gonna see Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, Wolfgang, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey outside of 2 promotions in the UK does not mean you are out of talent. You still have like a Jimmy Havoc. Jimmy Havoc, if you are a hardcore fan, go support Jimmy Havoc. Primate's making his return back. I can't wait to see the Loaded this coming in 8 days. I can't wait to see that next Sunday. I will actually probably be doing a review of Loaded on this channel starting next Sunday. That should be a lot of fun because I've been watching Loaded since What Culture Pro Wrestling days 2 years ago and up to last year, and I can't wait to see what these guys and girls do. I'm from the U.S. and I'm going to support them. Just what it's going to be. Again, before we move on here, you don't like what's going on with the UK division and the UK restrictions, you don't have to watch, but watch them anyway. Give these guys and girls your love and support. And give other promotions like ICW, like Progress, and other ones that aren't mentioned that I don't know because I'm from Ohio, I'm from the United States, I don't know all the promotions in the United Kingdom, outside of Defiant Wrestling and those other 2. Just show support for those who haven't made it and those who are just starting. You never know who could make it. Alright, after my ranting about all that, let's move on here as we talk about TLC possibly without Braun Strowman. WrestleVotes, who is of course one of the has become very reliable, and I still want to know who's running that Twitter account and how they get their sources, has proven to be credible source on a lot of interesting developments in WWE as of late, such as Shane McMahon winning the World Cup tournament at WWE Crown Jewel. They are now providing an interesting possible development on Braun Strowman injury issue. Braun Strowman revealed this past Monday that he will not be making it to TLC due to having elbow surgery this past Monday in Birmingham, Alabama. However, the current storyline development is that Baron Corbin will keep the match as scheduled, forcing Braun to forfeit, therefore making himself the permanent general manager of Monday Night Raw, which we all know is not going to happen. Alexa Bliss might not be able to wrestle again, and she will probably become the new general manager. That's why they gave her the position that they did. According to this development by WrestleVotes, Braun Strowman will indeed be out with injury well past WWE TLC, and the current plan for the event is to make a multi-man team match to replace the main event, similar to the situation in 2012. Him and Braun Strowman may indeed be out past TLC, and they're preparing to make the TLC match involving Corbin a multi-man contest similar to the 2012 TLC pay-per-view. If you don't know what WrestleVotes is tweeting about, the 2012 TLC pay-per-view was the Shield's debut match against Ryback and Team Hell No of Daniel Bryan and Kane. That's what that is. So, of course, it would be Finn Balor, Elias, and a third man, most likely John Cena. Yeah. If Braun Strowman is out and is unable to wrestle TLC, watch it be Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre, even though Bobby Lashley versus Elias was made for TLC and Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor was made for TLC, so I have no idea if that's what we're going to get. But watch it be, we get Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor and Elias and their mystery tag team partner, John Cena. Guess who's winning that match? So that is the current development for that. That is not surprising. Bone Spurs. It's not Bone Chips. If it was Bone Chips, Braun Strowman would be out till probably WrestleMania. Bone Spurs takes about 4 or 5 weeks to heal, maybe 6 weeks probably. So he won't see him till about January, most likely. Even though it's being reported that he is going to be at Monday Night Raw this coming Monday, does not mean he's going to be in a wrestling capacity. Maybe he's not even going to be on TV. Maybe he's like the week after Roman Reigns made his announcement, he was actually in, I think when they went in Jacksonville after his announcement, Roman Reigns was there. Probably not to, he was actually there, he left before the show, but he was there probably to talk to Triple H, Vince McMahon, and Kevin Dunn, and whoever, and let him update him on his situation and everything, which would not surprise me. So anybody who says, "Oh, Roman Reigns is in the building," he's probably there to give WWE update and see how far he's progressing in his battle. So I think that's going to be what Braun Strowman does. Is he'll be there to just give them an update and see and be there for creative plans and how they're going to get the Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman match set up for Royal Rumble. Because, honestly, I don't see them keeping that part of that match. It makes absolutely no sense that if Braun Strowman's not in the match, that he would be like that. Yeah, because you're going to have, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre take on Finn Balor, Elias, and a third person. So if Finn Balor, Elias, and the third person win the match, then Braun Strowman gets a title shot at Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. I don't even see that making any sense. We'll keep an eye on this, and hopefully we'll have some news coming up. Hopefully we'll have some clearance this coming Monday. There is a top NXT star who could be bound for the main roster, and I saw this coming, and we'll also have some news on him later on, too. Former NXT champion Aleister Black is currently embroiled in a rivalry with Johnny Gargano. Black signed with NXT in June of 2016 and went on to win the NXT Championship this past April. And I like Aleister Black as a character, but I honestly think Aleister Black had the worst NXT title reign of all time. It never felt like he should have had it. It just felt like the title felt inferior on Aleister Black, and that's a damn shame to say. Aleister Black is a hell of a talent, but it just felt like the entire time he held the title felt inferior. During the most recent edition of the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer talked about this week's NXT tapings, noting that he keeps hearing that Black is being considered for the main roster. There were no further detail given. Black was one of several NXT stars who toured with the main roster during the European tours this past May while he was still NXT champion. Black spoke with Roxanne about the experience and called it a huge thing. He said, and I quote, "It was a huge thing. You're in with all those people who are just such incredible performers. These incredible wrestlers," Black said. "Guys that are on top of the world and the top of their game, and you're being thrown in there, and it's like, all right, survive. So I'm being thrown in with the Lions to see if I'm a Lion myself. It's an incredible experience, and it's very humbling. It makes me even more focused on doing right by the company with the belt I'm carrying and the brand I'm carrying, and incredibly excited for when the time comes for me to truly move up myself, and I get to work with all those fantastic professionals." Now, on a side note, Aleister Black has actually been on the main roster one time, and it was not on Raw or SmackDown. It was a match on Main Event. I've actually seen the match on Main Event because it's on YouTube. He faced off against the lovable loser, Kurt Hawkins, and we all know how that match went. Kurt Hawkins lost to the Black Mass. So, and his entrance was a little different. Instead of rising from a coffin or something, he was actually on the main ramp in his Indian style pose. So, if you want to see what Aleister Black's entrance will probably be on the main roster, go check out Aleister Black versus Kurt Hawkins from Main Event, because he was actually on an episode of Main Event. I think it was last year. Coming out of the wrestling WWE for a minute, we're going to go over to a little football talk because, as we all know, the XFL, which I am actually looking forward to. I do like I like football. I just don't like the NFL that much, and I'm hoping the XFL can do something, and it's a little bit better than it was 17 years ago. XFL to announce all 8 teams next week. Vince McMahon's XFL is set to make a big announcement on Wednesday, December 5th at noon Eastern. The Football League will be revealing the 8 cities and venues that will be planning on running for the inaugural season. Below is the promo announcement. They had a video on it. It was reported earlier this week that St. Louis, Missouri will be one of the cities to get a team. That states that the St. Louis XFL team will play 10 games, with 5 of the 10 taking place inside what used to be called Edward Jones Dome, which is now the Dome at America's Center. There's no one yet on the 7 other teams. There is one more that has been said, that is Seattle. Has also been, not confirmed, but rumored to get a team, so St. Louis and Seattle. The XFL is scheduled to return in 2020 with WWE being a minority owner. Vince sold $100 million worth of his WWE stock to launch Alpha Entertainment, which, by the way, he looks very foolish when he sold $1 million worth of his stock, because his the stock until I believe a month before Crown Jewel was almost heading to $100 a share. Had he sold his shares then, he would have made a lot more for the XFL. Told people that he expects to spend an estimate of $500 million in the first 3 years of operation. So I don't know what you think. I'll have all full list of teams and they won't have the teams, but we'll have cities and venues next week on Unscripted. Just let me know. I want to know, who do you want and where do you want a team to be of the XFL? Are you excited about the XFL, or are you like, it's just going to be a joke because Vince McMahon owns it? Quite honestly, I hope that this time around, especially with Oliver Luck being the one pretty much running the operation, hopefully things will be a lot better. WWE has announced the 16th annual tribute to the troops. Of course they did, because this is going nowhere anytime soon. WWE, and it's been 16 years. 2004. How's that 16 years? It should be 14, shouldn't it? Because 2004. Yeah, that's only 14. I don't know why they say 16th annual. It's the 14th annual. Someone got the notes, the right email home. WWE announced the 14th annual tribute to the troops will take place on Tuesday, December 4th, from Fort Hood, Texas. That is actually in 3 days. That's actually in 3 days. I don't think it'll be airing that same day. This will be the WWE's second time. Oh, wait, 2003 actually. So it should be. No, it'll be the 15th, not the 14th. They're off by a year at Fort Hood. This will be the second time that TTTT at Fort Hood will be various activities on base, including an anti-bullying rally and superstar appearances. There's no word yet on when the TTTT, the Tribute to the Troops specials, will air, or if Vince McMahon will take a crew of superstars overseas to meet troops again this year, but we will keep you updated. It is what it is. This annual tribute to the troops will take place on Tuesday, December 4th at Fort Hood, Texas. This is the second time Fort Hood has hosted the most patriotic show of the year, first serving for a host in 2010. I believe that was the first year that WWE did not go overseas for tribute to the troops. While in Fort Hood, superstars will spend time giving back to military personnel and their families stationed at the base. Activities include a Be a Star bullying prevention rally, as well as hospital visits and military outreach initiatives at various installations across the base. WWE Tribute to the Troops began in 2003 to honor our servicemen and women, their families, and tradition of Bob Hope. WWE brings together the best of sports, entertainment, and pop culture with celebrity appearances and performances from music's most popular acts and what considered TV's most patriotic and heartwarming show of the year. Honestly, in my opinion, there's no reason to show Tribute to the Troops on TV anymore. It should be taped and shown to military bases, and that's it. It doesn't. It used to get annoying too when you would have Tribute to the Troops show up and air around the time of a pay-per-view. Because I remember it was a couple years ago. I think it was the 2010 one. They had the USA Network version, and then they had the NBC the NBC version, which is like an hour. Like they had the USA Network one is a 2-hour show, and the NBC one was half of that. Well, it's just stupid when they dub commentary to try and fill in storylines, because on this one, I believe it was Wade Barrett was the Intercontinental Champion. Was the Intercontinental like it was something with Wade Barrett. Like in the USA Network version, King said something about how Wade Barrett is prepared to wrestle for this title or this. Like I think it was like 2010. No, it wouldn't have been 10. It would have been like 12 or 13. Like 12, yeah. I think it was around the time when Wade Barrett was supposed to face Randy Orton for the WWE Championship in 2012, and it was like Wade Barrett is looking mean or something because he's ready for his match at said pay-per-view here, and then you get to the NBC one, which takes place after the pay-per-view, and they're like, oh, well, Wade's in a bad mood because because this or this didn't happen. It's like, why? it's not something that needs to be shown on TV. It should be for those guys there, those guys and girls there. It should be streamlined to other bases or those across the seas overseas who are watching. Like, I know they have an armed forces network. It should be the people who are there and anybody who gets the armed forces network in their bases and whatnot. It serves no purpose. It's just a. I know they do the WWE week where Raw and SmackDown, I believe, will be mostly like last year. I remember SmackDown and Raw had an hour of commercial-free television, which was great. Especially that first hour of SmackDown, which that was probably one. I think that was the best SmackDown in 2017. Was the commercial-free, the first half of SmackDown being commercial-free. Can USA? Can we do that where the entire episode of SmackDown and the entire episode of Raw is commercial-free? You can do it. You've done it before. Just my thing. I'm just to tribute to the troops. I probably won't check it out this year. There's really no reason to. There's nothing happens. There's no storyline progression unless the commentators they try and dub in commentary to make it sound like this is because of this. Oh, this happened on Monday Night Raw, so this is why this is happening. No, just cut it. Just cut it. Just let it be for the troops. It's not for me. It's not for everybody else. It's just for the troops. Remember how I said Aleister Black, we're going to have some news on him later on? Well, apparently Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are a couple and they are married. NXT superstar Aleister Black and main roster WWE talent Zelina Vega. I love how they put that. NXT superstar Aleister Black and main roster WWE talent Zelina Vega instead of WWE main roster superstar. No, just main roster talent. Whatever. Have reportedly tied the knot. Justin Memorial Wrestling Inc. reports that WWE talent were informed at TV that the two did indeed get married. At the photo surfaced of the two, which I didn't even know anything about. There were rumors aplenty about whether or not they were seeing each other, but now those have apparently been put to rest as they were reportedly the newest WWE power couple. Vega previously worked with Black while she was in NXT alongside Andrade Cien Almas. Vega previously dated former superstar from WWE, Austin Aries. Congratulations to the new couple of Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Gee, I wonder when those two started dating. I wonder if that was around the time that Aleister Black won the NXT Championship. Gee, just imagine. Aleister Black makes it to main roster television. He goes to SmackDown, and he has a feud with Andrade Cien Almas. And Zelina Vega, his wife, has to sit there and talk shit on him during the promo. That will make some good television. That would definitely make some good television. But all joking aside, congratulations to the happy couple. I can't say anything else about it. It's just congratulations. More power to you guys. And I hope you have a wonderful life together. And I already mentioned the two matches for TLC, Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor and Elias versus Bobby Lashley. Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor should be a decent match if it actually happens that way. Elias versus Bobby Lashley. Who gives a shit? We've seen it many times. It's not a pay-per-view match. Why the heck? That's pre-show. That speaks pre-show to me all the way. Finally, guys, we're going to end it right here. Fox wants Ronda Rousey for SmackDown in 2019. Wrestling Inc. has learned that Fox wants to have Ronda Rousey on SmackDown roster when SmackDown Live moves to the network. Fox feels that Rousey's MMA background, popularity, and credibility as an athlete will be a major selling point to promote the show. As previously reported, Fox wants SmackDown to have more of a sports direction and feature less comedy, fit in with their other sports programming. The addition of Rousey to SmackDown Live is expected to make her a main player in their efforts to do cross-promotional campaigns between WWE and Fox other programs. As noted, UFC heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier was recently invited for a tryout to WWE as a commentator. According to reports, Fox likes Cormier and wants WWE to sign him as a commentator. If you're going to sign him, give him a trial in NXT and just shoot off Percy Watson. Give him if he retires in March, you can have him do a 6-month trial, a 6-month run in NXT. You don't want to just throw him on SmackDown immediately. Give him a 6-month trial in NXT, ship off Percy Watson for now, have Percy Watson be a backstage interviewer for now, and then When you're done, you can put him on SmackDown and get rid of Byron Saxton. Cormier had to postpone the tryout because of his title defense against Derek Lewis at UFC 230 earlier this month, but recently told Busted Up and Radio that he still plans to audition. Rousey, of course, is the current Raw Women's Champion, while WWE executes a brand trade shortly after WrestleMania. It'll be interesting to see if they hold off until SmackDown moves to Fox in October of 2018. Now, I can honestly see WWE holding the Superstar Shakeup off until the week before SmackDown goes to Fox. Or they do the Superstar Shakeup, because that's still months away. You do the Superstar Shakeup in April, but then the final week of SmackDown on USA, you do another one, a minor one, not a big one, a minor one. You do the big one, but the second shorter Superstar Shakeup is when Ronda Rousey gets sent over, and you bring Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair to Raw, and then Shayna Baszler will be on SmackDown. You would have, and this is how you get SmackDown versus Raw for Survivor Series for the 4 Horsemen versus the 4 Horsewomen. You have Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, not Ronda Rousey, Bayley and Sasha Banks on Raw, Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, Jessamyn Duke, and Marina Shafir on SmackDown, and there's your SmackDown versus Raw. That's what you do. You put Charlotte and Becky on Raw, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Jessamyn Duke, and Marina Shafir will be on SmackDown, running both shows. And it does not surprise me, but honestly, I said this I think last week, I think I said this the week before. I honestly think that this entire Fox deal is just a disaster waiting to happen. We all know how Vince McMahon loves his comedy. We all know how Vince McMahon loves his comedy. Fox doesn't want any comedy. That shit that we saw last week with the Thanksgiving feast fight, Fox doesn't want that shit. Fox doesn't want any of that. They don't want no Christmas 34 on second. What is it? A 34 on Miracle on 34th Street fight? No. Fox doesn't want that shit. They want true shit. I mean, you can't take all comedy out of professional wrestling, because if you do, then you're not watching professional wrestling. You're just watching blah. It will be interesting to see what happens if Vince McMahon, because we know Vince McMahon is stubborn as hell too. But two things will kill this deal. If they go way over comedic, and Vince McMahon's like, fuck it, we're just gonna do what we want. And two, if the ratings drop. USA ratings mean absolutely nothing. Primetime cable ratings for Fox, NBC, and stuff like that mean everything. If you are on NBC, ABC, CBS, or Fox, and you have and your ratings go from like a 4.5 to a 2.3, you're getting canceled. If your ratings started at 3.7 and they continue to climb and then they drop all the way down to a 1.5, you're getting canceled. Or, well, no, not immediately. You're getting moved to another night, and then you're getting canceled. So, yes, people say the ratings don't matter. Wait till we get to Fox. Wait till October of next year. I guarantee you, WWE, SmackDown, and Raw too will start having to shape up, because if SmackDown, which is the B show to WWE still sees SmackDown as the B show. If SmackDown has to shape up and start doing less comedy, Raw will be doing the same thing, plain and simple. Vince McMahon's not going to go and allow SmackDown to outshine Raw. So if SmackDown is going to have to follow these guidelines to make sure Fox doesn't kill the big money deal, because it's all about the money, then Raw will start following those guidelines, and that's all we can hope for. But that is going to be all for your Unscripted for Saturday, December 1st, 2018. We only have 3 more episodes for this year. We are going to stop at a cool 50. Hopefully I'll have the new overlay for this done by then. But until then, my name is TheFrance. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at TheFrance. Follow me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, and I will see you guys Monday, or tomorrow actually, for NXT UK episode 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oh, I'm sorry. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 6 is already done. But yeah. The last 6 episodes of NXT UK, where we'll crown a UK Women's Champion. And then, of course, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, and then Unscripted next week. Until then, my name is France. You guys have a good one, and I will see you guys later.